Could this be the drone that redefines photogrammetry, drone surveys, search and rescue operations in 2025? Meet the new DJI Matrice 4. In this video, we're going to talk about what new features does the new Matrice 4 bring to the table. We're also going to compare it against its older brother, the DJI Mavic 3 Enterprise, and try to answer the question, should you upgrade? So now all the Enterprise series drones, so the M350, Matrice 350, Matrice 30, and now the Matrice 4, they're all now called Matrice drones. So DJI has moved a bit away from the Mavic naming, leaving that to the cheaper line of drones. So this drone, it's intended actually to be as a replacement for the older Mavic 3 Enterprise drone. And one of the first things you might notice is that it is slightly larger than its predecessor. And one of the next things you also might see is that the cameras also now have changed. So for the Matrice 4 thermal, it has two telephoto cameras, wide-angle camera and a thermal camera. And the Matrice 4 Enterprise has very similar camera setup, but the main difference is that for the Matrice 4 Enterprise drone, it has the wide camera with a mechanical shutter. And also the shutter speed is different on both wide cameras. Another thing you might notice is the batteries, because now actually the battery size is also one of the differentiating things. So you can see, of course, that the new battery is slightly larger, which also actually allows the drone to fly for a longer period of time. So about 4 or 5 minutes extra. Also, one thing you might notice is that now it comes with an already inbuilt RTK module. While for the older drone, so for the Mavic 3 Enterprise, you had to buy an additional module, which by the way was not very cheap. It's about 500, 600 USD or euros, depending on where you live. And then you would attach it here on the top. And also another very notable improvement is actually the flight controller. So the Mavic 4 Enterprise came with the RC Pro controller, while the newer drone, the Matrice 4, it comes with the RC Plus controller, which of course gives you a larger screen. It has a downside of being slightly heavier, but also you can actually fit an extra battery here in the back, which also extends the battery life of the controller. So I'd say this is quite a good upgrade in terms of usability, because a larger screen, of course, is always welcome. And another thing we actually noticed is that if you compare this controller with the controller of the M350, which is already a drone in higher class, then this does seem to have a slightly upgraded screen, and the screen is also slightly larger. But you could probably only tell that if you put both of those large controllers side by side. But this, I think, it's definitely a good improvement. Now actually bringing all the DJI Enterprise level drones with only using the larger controller. And of course, also we took our time to try the drone out in real flights. Overall, I have to say it flies very confidently, probably maybe even slightly better than the Mavic 3 Enterprise, although you can feel the slightly increased weight of this drone, but not by much. It has upgraded obstacle detection sensors, it has obstacle avoidance also now, which also makes it a lot safer to fly. And so this new controller comes, of course, with the DJI Pilot 2 app. But if you wish to extend the functionality of what DJI Pilot 2 offers and be able to customize your flight plans and fly more complex projects, then you should definitely check out UgCS. And today, actually, we also flew with UgCS and already the new Matrice 4. And we have support for the Matrice 4 since version 5.7. So if you're interested, definitely check it out. Make sure to visit our website, link down in the description. Now, for me, what's really interesting is where DJI is going to go after this. And what I mean by that is that, so the current lineup before this drone was the M350, the M30, and the Mavic 3 Enterprise. And now I think we can quite safely assume that the Mavic 3 Enterprise is probably going to be discontinued. But this kind of gives us the question, what will happen with the M30 drone? Because the Matrice 4 is now already larger, it has the larger controller. So what does it not have? And I think the answer to that is actually some weather protection, because the DJI M30 drone is rated for IP55, water ingress protection. while the Matrice 4, at least if you look on the official DJI website, it explicitly says not to fly if it starts raining, and that if rain starts, you should definitely return and land the drone as soon as possible, otherwise some damage might occur. Now, to me, this seems a bit strange considering that this drone is also actually intended for search and rescue operations, which of course might sometimes have to take place when it is also raining outside. And also we can notice that this is intended for first responders, and this is the same story. Sometimes you simply have to fly when it's raining a bit. But that's one of the main limitations of this drone actually, because if you look on the case of the drone, you might see all of these holes which are not protected in any way, and you can see there's PCBs inside. So that in case you're starting to fly in the rain, then this is definitely not protected, and you might damage the drone if you keep flying when it starts raining. And that's actually the main limitation of it. Otherwise, actually, the flight time is longer than the M30 drone. The weight is smaller, it's more easily transportable. But I think we just have to wait and see what will DJI do in the future. Because if they would add some more weatherproofing to this drone, then it could replace the M30 and make the work of first responders and search and rescue teams even easier. But as I already mentioned before, the standard version, or the Matrice 4 Enterprise, it is mainly intended for surveyors, and there I think this waterproofness is not really as important. Another difference between this drone and the M30 is the wind resistance, because this drone has a wind resistance of 12 meters per second, while the M30 has a higher wind resistance of 15 meters per second. And now this brings us to the question, should you upgrade to the new Matrice 4 drone? And to be honest, I would say that if you already have Mavic 3 Enterprise drone, you have to consider what features does the Matrice 4 Enterprise bring to the table additionally. It has AI tracking, it has inbuilt RTK module, and extended flight time. At least to me, those are the main ones that stand out the most. If those are important to you, then it could be worth the upgrade. But me personally, if I already had the Mavic 3 Enterprise, I think it's a perfectly capable drone for doing drone surveys. And in those cases, you might just want to stick with the Mavic 3 Enterprise for now. However, if you have an older drone, such as the Phantom 4 or maybe Mavic 2 series, and you have been thinking about when is the right time to upgrade, I would say the right time is now, because this does seem to be a very capable, very well-rounded drone, and it could be the right time to upgrade, especially considering that the price of this is also very, very competitive. In conclusion, depending on what drone you have and what features you're after, that's what should determine whether you're upgrading to the new Matrice 4 Enterprise drone or not. We'll also have to see whether DJI will come out with a multispectral version, because as you might know, then the Mavic 3 Enterprise series does also have a multispectral drone, which in some sites is actually now sold out. So they might be coming out with a multispectral version of the Matrice 4. I guess let's wait and see. So if you're curious about this drone and are considering purchasing it, then you should also consider subscribing to our channel, because we bring you a lot of cool content about drones as well as flight planning. And if you want to try out professional drone flight planning software with all the tools that professionals use and need, then make sure to check out UgCS. Visit our website, link down in the description, and take the free 14-day trial. Thank you for watching this video, and see you in the next one. Bye.